A lighthouse has one purpose: to shine. When a lighthouse goes dark, it is not just a malfunction. It is an emergency. December 26, 1900, Boxing Day. The supply ship Hesperus approaches the remote Flannan Isles off the coast of Scotland. The captain is anxious. The light has been out for days. As the ship draws near, the crew notices the silence. There is no flag flying on the pole. There are no provision boxes on the landing. And most terrifying of all, no one comes down the steps to greet them. Relief keeper Joseph Moore rows ashore. He climbs the 160 steep steps to the station. He calls out the names of his friends: James, Thomas, Donald. He pushes open the heavy entrance door. He expects to find them sick or injured. Instead, he finds a fire that has burned out days ago, and a clock that has stopped ticking. 3 men have vanished into thin air. And they left behind a puzzle that has haunted the maritime world for over a century. To understand the disappearance, you must understand the location. Eilean Moor. The Big Isle. It is nothing more than a jagged tooth of rock jutting out of the wildest part of the Atlantic Ocean. It is a place of birds, wind, and ghosts. For centuries, locals refused to stay on the island overnight. They believed it was the home of phantoms. But in 1899, modern engineering built a lighthouse there. A fortress against the dark. In December 1900, 3 men were on duty. James Duckett, 43, the principal keeper. A family man, a veteran with 20 years of experience. He was steady as a rock. Thomas Marshall, 28, the second assistant. Reliable and seasoned. And Donald MacArthur, 40, the occasional keeper. An old soldier known for being tough and fearless. These were not nervous men. They were hardened Scotsmen who knew the sea. They knew the rules. And the first rule of the lighthouse service is simple: the lamp must never go out. So, what could make 3 disciplined men abandon their post simultaneously? When Joseph Moore entered the living quarters, the scene was disturbingly domestic. The kitchen was tidy. The pans were cleaned. On the table, there was a meal prepared: cold meat, pickles, and potatoes. It had been laid out, but never eaten. A single chair was overturned on the floor, as if someone had jumped up in a hurry. But the most chilling clue was found in the entrance hall. On the rack hang the keeper's oilskins, their heavy waterproof gear. 2 sets are missing. James Duckett and Thomas Marshall had put their coats on. But the 3rd set, belonging to Donald MacArthur, was still on the hook. This is a critical detail. In the lighthouse service, you never leave the tower without your gear, especially in winter. Whatever happened, happened fast. 2 men went out. And MacArthur, the tough one, rushed out after them, in his shirt sleeves. Into a freezing Atlantic winter. Why? What emergency was so sudden that he couldn't take 10 seconds to grab his coat? Joseph Moore found the station's logbook. The entries leading up to the disappearance paint a picture of psychological disintegration that defies logic. Remember, these are veteran seamen. December 12th entry, gale north by northwest. Sea lashed to fury. Never seen such a storm. Waves very high. And then, a note about the men: Marshall sad. Duckett quiet. December 13th entry, storm continued through night. Wind shifting west by north. Ducat quiet. Marshall crying. Thomas Marshall. Crying. This was a man who had weathered hurricanes. Why was he crying? The entry continues, keepers praying to God. 3 hardened Scotsmen, huddled in a tower, praying for mercy. Here is the twist that makes this case a nightmare. According to the official weather reports from ships nearby, and the station at Lewis, there was no storm. On December 12th, 13th, and 14th, the weather in the region was calm. The skies were clear. The storm that Marshall was crying about, the storm that made them pray, existed only for them. Was it a localized weather anomaly? Or were they hallucinating? The final entry is dated December 15th, storm ended, sea calm. God is over all. After this, silence. The clock stopped. The lamp died. What happened to the 3 men of Eilean Moor? Theory number 1, the rogue wave. When investigators checked the west landing, they found devastation. Iron railings bent like spaghetti. A concrete block weighing a ton had been moved. The official inquiry suggested that Ducat and Marshall went to secure equipment during a storm. MacArthur saw a massive wave approaching and ran out to warn them. The wave, a monster rising 100 feet up the cliff, swept all 3 into the ocean. It is the most logical explanation. But it doesn't explain the overturned chair inside. And it doesn't explain the logbook entries about a storm that didn't exist days before the death. Theory number 2, madness. Lighthouse keepers often suffered from mercury poisoning, used in the mechanism of the light. Did the mercury drive them insane? Did they hallucinate the storm? Did a fight break out? Did MacArthur, known for his temper, kill the other 2 and then throw himself into the sea? But the kitchen was tidy. There was no blood. Theory number 3, the supernatural. The locals of the Hebrides have their own answer. They call it the 7 Hunters. They believe the island hates visitors. They say the men were taken by the phantoms of the 7 Hunters. Or that they were transformed into the giant seabirds that circle the tower, screaming at the relief ship. The bodies were never found. The lighthouse was eventually automated in 1971. Today, no one lives on Eilean Moor. The ghosts have the rock to themselves. But sometimes, passing ships still report seeing strange lights, or hearing voices on the wind. The Flannan Isles mystery reminds us of the power of nature, and the fragility of the human mind. Did the ocean take them? Or did the isolation break them? As the final log entry said, God is over all. But on that rock, perhaps they met something else. This is Dormant Files. Keep your light burning. I'll see you in the next investigation.